Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about information consumption and sources that I use and kind of how I stay informed. And we're really going to do this because somebody asked this question over Twitter, and I went through it. And one of the items that I use prompted a whole lot of questions, and I realized a whole lot of people are either unaware or definitely underutilizing this particular type of source. Okay, so generally, every day I start with AP, the Associated Press. Pretty much read everything that they publish in English. From there, I move to sites that have a more open bias. AP is pretty bare bones reporting. It's very factual. There's not a lot of analysis. Therefore, there's not a lot of room for inserting their opinion. And then you can move to the outlets that are generally seen as the big news outlets. They have a bias. All of them. Whatever your favorite one is, they have a bias too. Every outlet has a bias. Then I tend to scroll social media and look at people's reactions to various news events to get kind of a feel on where people are at. Then I will look to both left and right advocacy organizations. Every advocacy group, doesn't matter what the cause is, whether it's the environment or civil rights. They have what amounts to an online magazine, even if it's just something that appears kind of low tech like a blog. They have something. They tend to have information that doesn't really get reported. And then, as y'all know, I read a lot of polls, surveys, and studies because that can give you the data to better inform whatever opinion that you're shaping. Then I mentioned trade journals, and it just prompted a flood of questions. A whole lot of people really didn't even seem to know what they were. So I'm going to give you two examples that you're probably familiar with, and then just kind of explain that these exist for everything. The Hollywood Reporter. It's a magazine. It covers film. People don't see it as a trade magazine because it's, a lot of celebrity stuff's in it. But that's really what it is. It's just for that particular industry. Another one is Billboard, the music industry. Every industry has magazines or outlets like this. Everything from shipping to defense to name it, retail, welding, paper making, it doesn't matter. Everything has their own outlet. Now, these outlets are incredibly biased. They are there to represent the interest of the group that they are kind of filling a void for. Whatever the industry is, their industry is obviously going to be portrayed favorably. However, the reason I started talking about supply chain issues long before everybody else is because I read shipping journals, trade magazines for international shipping. There's a lot of information in there that is incredibly useful, especially if you can tie it to a source like AP. And you can draw those lines and those connections. The people who write for those types of magazines, for trade magazines, trade journals, whatever you want to call them, they tend to be very well informed on their particular industry. You want to know about mining and where they're going to start mining? Look at a mining trade magazine. They'll tell you, because they'll be basically help wanted for managers at a new mine. If you want to know about defense, Jane's, Defense One, there's a bunch of them. all of this information is out there, but this is typically information that would only be consumed by a small group of people. If you're wanting to become better informed, there's a lot that can be gleaned out of these sources, especially when you're talking about anything dealing with U.S. politics, because large industries tend to have large lobbies. So when you see a suggestion in one of these magazines, it says this is what we need a law, or this is why this law is bad for us, and then you see that industry start to donate a lot of money to a particular candidate's reelection campaign, well, you can pretty much guess how they're going to vote. It's part of that thing that helps create a crystal ball. You can't really tell the future, but you have a much, much more informed guess. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.